So now I will open up the floor to questions and or comments. Mr. Horvath.
David Horvath, 28 Timberlane, Guilford. Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask for an apology from you. You opened up your statement tonight saying nobody could divine what was in the record from 1998 or 1997. So you went through and cherry-picked your points. However, you did say that the voters were confused when they went to the polls this year. What clairvoyance gives you the right to say that about the people of Guilford? I like to think the people of Guilford are pretty smart. Again, I ask for your apology for making an erroneous and arrogant statement like that regarding the people of Guilford who voted 2-1 on that warrant article.
I personally have had a number of voters tell me they were not clear on what the purpose of that warrant article was, and I'm not alone in that. So, and the statement says many voters were probably not clear. That is not saying that all of them were not clear. It says that some of them were, and again, that's based upon.
Twice we were very clear.
Excuse me?
Twice we were very clear. 1997 and 2011. Again, I ask for your apology. Don't make up our minds or try to tell us what's in our minds.
Well, that's your opinion, that's what I'm trying to do. It's
very clear. It's on the board.
Very well. That's your point of view.
That's very clear.
Mark.
In support of the unclearness of that warrant article, I have a neighbor who I consider very intelligent, runs his own business to the tune of about $1 million a year, and he actually had to go and ask the school clerk what that warrant article meant. He also called me earlier about it, what it meant, because he did not have access to the previous 1998 article, as a lot of people didn't. The way the article was written was very unclear and was confusing, and I think it was deliberate on the people that set up that warrant article.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the board for doing that research and getting correspondence from the state board or the Department of Education. However, I've got some major problems with your presentation here. I mean, you did the same thing Mr. Dormady did and Mr. Roy did in their letters to the editor. You picked out sentences in debate. You picked out discussion. You did not actually quote the law. So that being said, let me read the actual warrant article from that year. That the Guilford School, moderator proceeded to Article 5, that the Guilford School District vote to accept the provisions of RSA 194C, providing for the withdrawal of the Guilford School District from School Administrative Unit number 30 involving the districts of Laconia and Gilmanton in accordance with the provisions of the proposed district plan. In accordance to the provisions of the proposed district plan. When this article passed, that plan was no longer proposed. That was the district plan. I've got RSA 194C here, the entire package. I'd like somebody to point out somewhere in here where it has a provision in there for a SAU transition committee. It's not there. That's not part of the law. That was not. It was settled when the committee made their plan and it was voted on. It was a package deal, withdrawal and proposed in the plan. When that was done, that was it, sir. I'd love somebody to show me where in law it shows that you can have an SAU transition. That's not part of the RSA 194C. Now, also, to counter your other point, part of RSA 194C, which I believe Mr. Hurt here was part of the legislature when they passed that, and there was considerable debate. Right here, Section 2, C5, Section 2. Each school administrative unit shall provide superintendent services to be performed as required by RSA 194C4, which describes the individual services, financial, yada, yada, yada. School districts shall not be required to have a superintendent and may assign these services to one or more administrative personnel working full-time or part-time, or such services may be independently contracted. Okay, That's pretty plain, and that outdates the law, that 189C24. So, I mean, the law is plain, sir. The law is clear. And I gotta say, I think it's pretty arrogant of the board, arrogant, to ignore the will of the people. And to prove that point, I got here more documentation. I don't know if you recognize this form here. Is that... No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong paper.
Because you don't recognize it.
No, I don't. I've got a lot of papers going on here. This was printed off your own website. This is from the Guilford SAU, the district website, under policies, board powers and responsibility. The school board, whose members are elected as representatives of the people in the school district, shall, as, and I believe that should say act there because I think it's a typo, act as the general agent of the state in carrying out the will of the people of the district in matters of public education. The board has these powers, which is expressly granted to it by New Hampshire State Legislature, federal laws, and rules of the school board. You quote 3 laws and 1 set of rules. I went and followed them, and nothing gives you the power to overrule the will of the people, sir. Nothing. I don't see anything. In fact, one of these laws is for a cooperative school district, so it wouldn't even apply to us. So, I think you need to go back and consult with your lawyer a little bit more and determine whether or not you're going to waste taxpayer money to defeat taxpayers' will. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I'll repeat. The school board's position is there was no plan, finalized plan, when the voters voted in 1998. These 2 statements from the chair of the SAU Planning Committee makes it clear there was no finalized plan.
Sir, you're reading from minutes. You're not reading the law. The only thing that matters is what made it in law. That's all that matters.
Okay.
That is the law. The
Okay,
law is clear.
and-
You're editorializing as
Right,
you're
and
trying
then-
to pick it apart.
Right, and then this letter is clear.
That letter's fine. That's fine. We can pick that apart because you know what? They didn't read section 5. They didn't read the other part either. I can show you where it expressly says that it doesn't require a superintendent. So the law comprehends itself. So we need to figure out what's right.
I would lean in the direction of
I know
what
you're
Dr.
leaning,
Philly
sir.
says.
I know you're leaning.
Okay.
But you also have to realize that you're also a representative of the people who are carrying out the will of the people, and the will of the people is pretty clear. Now, I'll say this. It may be possible that some people may not have understood it, may not knew the impact of this, but you know what? It's pretty clear that they're also pretty pissed off at the board for spending the kind of money you've been spending. And you know, we constantly hear this tired SEA line that this is business, that this is education, it's not a business. It is a business, sir. You got a $24 million budget, you have 252 employees. The only difference is in a traditional business, we make investments in anticipation of profits. In education, we make investments in anticipation of results, and I don't believe we're getting the results that warrant the levels of investment we're making. It's time for a new business plan. It's not working, pal.
Thank you for your comment.
Joe Wernick, 3 Gary Circle. I would have to disagree after having a daughter that has just graduated and being successful in college and 2 other children in the school. They are successful. And they are successful because we have the community that came out for the Sawyers, that were lining the streets for Ella. We have a great community here. And I know people are upset, but you know what? Some of these people who have $1 million houses that are paying a lot of taxes on it right now are not going to complain when they sell that house for twice as what it's valued.
Education
Okay.
does not play that much role.
And you know what? Let me finish, please.
Okay, go ahead.
I appreciate what the school board has done. I have disagreed in the past with them on various issues. But they are here for the kids. The test scores. I agree with Mr. Weber. Nothing in the paper the other day about the test scores. All about this petition warrant article. Again, another school board meeting wasted on the petition warrant article when we have it from up there from the Director of Program Support from the State of Education stating that it's against the law to go without a superintendent. That's it. Live with it. A few years ago, I tried getting a petition warrant article about reinstating a principal, assistant principal in family and consumer science. We knew ahead of time it was a recommendation, it was non-binding. Okay? Live with it. That's what it comes up with. Okay? You say a lot of people are upset about it. A lot of people are upset that the school board is wasting their time on this. We have a new superintendent on board. We have a very good school system. Our test scores are going up. We are putting out an incredible product. And if you have a child in the school system, you know that. And I'm sick and tired of seeing the school board waste their time on this. I'd rather see them commending the Gold Key artists, the art teachers, the champions for children. That's what I want to see publicized and I want to see in the paper. Nothing about this article. You people are not going to be happy until we get rid of a superintendent. Well, you know what? Deal with it. We have a superintendent, and we are going to continue to have a superintendent because the law says we have.
Sir, can I respond, since he directed his comments directly at me? I think that's the only fair way.
I apologize.
I did mention prior to the opening of my presentation and the opening of the discussion, our time is limited. We do have an agenda, and I think we need to hear from other voices. So I will take 2 more comments or questions, and then we're going to move on to the next presentation. Yes.
Me? Hi, my name is Barbara Eichinger, 558 Edgewater Drive. Sir, I am one of the owners of that $1 million house. Okay, let me tell you, it can't be sold. People are asking lower than assessed
Let me
values
interrupt you for a
for
second.
those properties.
It's comments and questions to the board. Okay, this is not. I don't want this to descend into, people.
Well, you
attacking
let
each other.
him make his comments about the school, about the
We did make
tax
those
rate.
to you.
He made them to me, and you're not letting me respond.
Let's
I
just.
addressed mine to you and the board, sir.
If you have a comment or a question for the board, I will entertain that.
Well, I would like to comment about the performance of the students versus the dollars spent, okay? I think the situation that you have here is the superintendent's position is but a symptom of a much larger problem, and that is the dollars per students. And it's great that you have great performing students, but the dollar per student is way out of whack, okay? It does not correlate with the state average or the national average, okay? And what that's doing to the community is it's piling up the number of houses on the market, okay? The houses are selling for below assessed values, and the real estate market is collapsing due to the high dollar per student. This is but a mere symptom of that problem, okay?
We do plan to discuss the issue of cost per student at a future board meeting. So
Okay,
we'll
well,
address that issue.
the tax rate for the schools continues to climb. Okay, Mr. Weber, you insult our intelligence, okay, when you talk about, oh, we laid off a teacher or we made this cut here. The dollar per student continues to rise, sir.
And as I mentioned, we will discuss that at a future meeting.
And it's not for the children. The money is not going to the children. It's for the adults. And we all know that. You're going to have to make some serious decisions when it refers to the dollar per student, sir.
As I mentioned, we will discuss
And its
that.
effect on the real estate market.
Any further comments or questions? Yes, sir.
My name is George LaCroix. I live at 10 Heather Lane. I've lived in Guilford since 1973. 2 of my 3 children graduated from Guilford High School. Both of those children, as well as my 3rd, who did not graduate from Guilford, but anyway, 2 of those 3 graduates of Guilford High School have done fairly well, I think. One of them, sir, as a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps and a commanding officer of the Marine Corps School of Infantry.
Ooh.
So I think that more dollars, I agree with this lady, more dollars, ever increasing dollars, are not the answer. There have been successful students from Guilford High School, many years, and there will continue to be. But I think economically, it's time we tried a different route. And I think that route, sir, in all due respect to the superintendent, I think that that route is perhaps without a superintendent, if that be lawful, okay? I haven't delved into all the legislative bills and laws and everything. You know, at my age, I don't have time to do that. I don't even buy green bananas. But anyway, I think that let's give it a try, because we certainly, I agree with this lady, I certainly feel that, and speaking for a few of the senior citizens, who I hope there would have been more of tonight, we can't afford much more, okay, in our school system. I mean, it's just gone beyond belief since I came to town. And we didn't have all this falderall in years past, and we still had a good school. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for all the comments. I think we can continue to discuss this topic, and there are going to be varying views of the issue, and we're not going to resolve anything. I would like to move on because Scott is